So what we're noticing is the most engagement and views we're getting is on our how-to style content instead of the content about our agency.
I think that's been a good learning for us, actually. A lot of the people that seem to be watching our videos are other freelancers, consultants, agencies, just like getting more insight on what we're doing. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
To just doing that and not call it Double Your Agency, just call it the Grow and Converse podcast or show, or like marketing. What we threw around some ideas like, marketing strategy. And we also had been kind of inspired and been thinking about Rand Fishkin's old Whiteboard Friday videos from his Moz days many, many years ago. Half of the audience is probably not even old enough to know this. Were you even alive then? Okay, this is going to be kind of a fun special episode. We just actually got done recording another episode, and we started having this conversation and felt like this itself should be a public conversation. We started this, we're showing, for those of us, you guys listening, we're actually just showing our YouTube page, so you can just go to youtube.com @growandconvert and click on videos to see our list of videos. You see our episode 1 of this series, which we called Double Your Agency or Doubling Our Agency, was published, it says 3 months ago.
I think beginning of January, if I remember correctly.
Right. We started this basically at the beginning of this year, which is 2024. Our hypothesis, and you can go back and watch that video, episode 1, was basically our thesis behind this was, look, we're already doing bottom of funnel SEO type stuff for ourselves and some other channels to get leads. What can Benji, and our team is executing that, what can Benji and I specifically do to grow the brand name more? And, and that has various benefits. We can hire more writers if they know about us, but also like, we know that in general for this type of hire of like an agency, there's like a long-term trust thing. And so beyond people like Googling something that could indicate they want an agency, which we are doing, we're attacking that channel. What can we do something that just like everybody just associates Grow and Convert and knows the brand or whatever? And our thesis was
or just knows us personally. I think that's a huge benefit of video, is people getting to know us before ever working with us or talking to us, and just kind of how we think and our culture and stuff like that.
And so we had liked doing those videos. And if we scroll down further, there are some videos we had done before where, like it says like 1 year ago in a lot of these videos. They're just like, various videos of how to do this, like how to write your first few blog posts, like etc. This new one has like a certain kind of look and feel to it, the thumbnails and all this. Here's what we're noticing. The idea was this build in public. You're gonna track our growth as we double our agency. We were saying, look, a lot of people have done this build in public thing from zero, but most people don't do it when the company is already like a $1 million, kind of revenue type company plus. And so we'll talk about these operational challenges, and that'll get us in front of those people. But let's look at the view counts, especially like maybe the last few that all have been around like a month or a few months ago. What we've noticed is some of the highest viewed ones are not about our agency and its growth. Specifically, episode 10, content strategy for a new business. We basically said like, how do we do this? We're creating a content strategy for a new business, etc. 466 views, which for us is a lot. We're not Mr. Beast. And then episode 7, it was with David on our team of how do you update your existing content to reclaim SEO rankings that went down. 417 views in 2 months. But then look at some of the other ones of just our own story, like the March recap. Only 157 views. That's like 25% of the views of how to create a content strategy. Or the February recap. That's been 2 months. Getting out of the day-to-day of the business, only 226. So like kind of half the views. Our latest episode that's on the page now was a breakdown of like how to write good content, breaking down writing. That's only 7 days old and almost is already at 400 views. So what we're noticing is the most engagement and views we're getting is on our how-to style content instead of the build in public, double our agency, instead of the content about our agency. So we're now having this moment of like, what if we reposition this series to just doing that and not call it double your agency, just call it the Grow and Converse podcast or show, or like marketing, what we threw around some ideas like, marketing strategy. And we also had been kind of inspired and been thinking about Rand Fishkin's old Whiteboard Friday videos from his Moz days many, many years ago. Half of the audience is probably not even old enough to know this. Were you even alive then? But you can Google like Whiteboard Fridays or something, and we could call it. We could do a shout out to him and say, marketing strategy Fridays or something like this, and just have it be how tos. Because I don't know, Benji. What do you think?
I guess what I've been reflecting a lot on is when we started this, the idea was to talk about a lot of what was going on in our business, like what were we learning as we were growing and sharing those learnings with people. And I think like if I had to reflect on what worked and what didn't work, again, I think people are enjoying the learnings that we share, and that's always been true. So when we put out new blog posts of us learning something new or creating a new strategy or like finding some different tactic that we didn't think would work that does work and showing how it works and getting in the details of it, I think people really appreciate that kind of stuff. And to me, when I look at a lot of the topics, it's more about just like us and our learnings. And I think there was a shift maybe like a month ago or a couple months ago where we had this conversation and we started to talk more about what are the problems that people are facing in their business and how can we share the learnings that we've had kind of going through those same challenges and sharing basically what we've learned from our experience trying to do the same thing. And I think that to me is seems to be what's resonating. Like when we're sending out an email and it's some topic that a lot of people find challenges with, such as, okay, like you're starting a content strategy from scratch. Like, what do you do? What's the first few blog posts that you do? Or today's topic was you're hiring your first marketer. Like, how do you even think about doing that? As you grow a business, there are so many challenges that you need to figure out beyond just the strategy component. There's the hiring component, budgets, and all this kind of stuff. And I think going forward, it'd be more interesting to kind of put ourselves in the shoes of people in marketing teams or at the beginning stages of their company and talk through some of the challenges that we've personally faced in our careers, whether it's at Grow and Convert or otherwise, and just kind of like have open conversations about it. And so I don't know, that's kind of where my thinking is now, just like where I kind of want to take this. I think this whole YouTube channel has been an experiment. Like you said, this series was an experiment. Our prior videos were an experiment. I think just from a big picture perspective, I've been fascinated with just experimenting with YouTube because I think YouTube will continue to get more integrated into search. So I think things that I'm thinking about, YouTube SEO, is there a way to attack that can, one, help grow our business, help grow the brands that we work with, and how does that relate to the things that we're already doing in content? But then also just beyond the SEO component, how do you grow a YouTube channel or how do you grow an audience on YouTube that people are interested in? And yeah, this whole channel and this whole series has been an experiment doing that. And I think we just need to continue iterating until we figure out what works. And so just thought we'd have kind of like a talk through this while we're thinking about this and talking about it, just kind of debating, do we keep that double your agency branding if we don't really want to talk about our business so much and really just want to help people and share our learnings and advice? I don't know what the right answer is.
The funny thing is, even though those videos, the ones where we like do our updates, even though those counts are much lower, I've enjoyed doing it. There's something about like
Me too.
having to report on monthly growth that like forced us to really like take it seriously. what is this logistically going to mean? Like, what do we do?
Maybe we still do these monthly updates just to keep holding ourselves accountable to the goal. Like, again, I think you're right. Coming up with a goal for our business and then having everything be focused on that goal, just trying to double the business, I think has aligned us and our thinking around how to do that. And so far it's going well. Like, we're kind of on track to do this, and I want to keep holding ourselves accountable. But I think beyond that goal, if we're thinking just of YouTube as a marketing channel and just how to get the most impact out of this, I just don't know if this series is what's going to get us to that goal of getting exposure from YouTube and growing our channel, our audience, our viewership. And so I kind of just want to experiment with trying some other ideas on YouTube and seeing if we can just keep growing the channel. And so, yeah, my idea would be, let's keep doing monthly updates. Let's either test out a new series that we come up with or just some new content types, whether it's just straight up answering people's questions to try to rank for common questions people have around different marketing topics, whether it's trying to do like more SEO oriented videos and like what does that look like, or if it's just let's talk about interesting marketing topics and let's do it on a weekly basis and try to build a rhythm so people know to come to our channel on a specific day and there's going to be something interesting that they can learn from.
Yeah, I don't know the right answer. Like, here's one hypothesis. There's been a lot of people that have been successful with some kind of like follow our journey from X to Y. At least I think so. I mean, I guess I don't know that for a fact, but I just see a lot of them, and I've heard some interviews with people that have done that. I wonder if there's a couple reasons why we're seeing those update, like our February update, our April update, have less view counts than the others. Number one, those businesses that I've seen be successful with it, their business, like their customers are other businesses like them. For example, a SaaS product that is useful for other SaaS products. So like a Profitwell or a Stripe style SaaS product is used by other SaaS founders. So if you have something like that, you can be like, here's how I'm growing my SaaS product, and who's listening is your customers. That's not true for us. Other agencies or content writing / SEO freelancers are not our audience. Our target customer.
They are, but for different products.
That's
so
true.
it's for the course.
That's true. Our customer.
Or to become part of our team. I think that's been a good learning for us, actually. A lot of the people that seem to be watching our videos are other freelancers, consultants, agencies, just like getting more insight on what we're doing. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But if we're trying to use YouTube to grow either our client base or just get in front of more marketers in general, regardless of if it's like people that would want to do content with us or not, to me, that's kind of what I think I want to do with this channel, is just share advice and learnings in marketing and try to just broaden out from just content marketing to just like marketing strategy in general. Like, how do you grow a business? How do you think about that kind of stuff? How do you think about growing a content team? What are the dynamics between marketing and sales? There's like we've just had a lot of learning throughout our careers that we could share. Even you on A/B testing and stuff like that. I think really be interesting, like your thoughts on that kind of stuff. I just feel like there's not a lot of good marketing content anymore. Like, I think from a big picture, if I think about what's the one blog or person or resource that I would go to for marketing advice, or just like that's interesting, or like talking about new stuff, I can't think of one, which is sad. Like, I think if I rewinded to like 2010 to 2014, there were so many people doing very interesting things, having like really unique blogs and unique takes, or like we said, Rand Fishkin doing Whiteboard Fridays. Like, a lot of that's like lost now. I don't know what happened, but I just feel like,
well, everyone just has the same format. So I'm not sure. I kind of agree with you and kind of disagree. Like, the agree part is, I think what you're maybe speaking to is like everybody's show is I interview other people. That's it. And so there's like you get some learning, but clicking on those episodes I find is like gambling. It's like maybe there's like some good nuggets, but then otherwise you're just like, who the hell is this person they're interviewing? Like half the time you're like, I'm not
Or
sure.
it's just too tactical. That I think that's what I don't like anymore. Everyone has become obsessed with tactics. Here's this one LinkedIn template that you should use, and it's like that kind of stuff. Like that doesn't help most people. Like what helps most people is thinking about how to solve hard problems. Like thinking on the strategy level, thinking at the big picture level. That I think is what's missing. Like I don't know anyone. I don't. That's where I don't know a resource where I could go. How does someone think about solving this problem in their business? That would be interesting.
You're right.
To
Like
me.
here, you're clarifying some more things to me. Here's kind of the landscape of marketing, video and audio content as far as I'm aware. And I'm not necessarily the expert. I don't consume a ton of it, to be perfectly honest. But like from what I've seen, there is the infinite amount of like I interview other people podcasts. There's just too many of those. We're not doing that. We tried a few of those episodes, by the way. Like we tried that with our clients, and like look at this
They like no, well, not the clients, but if you keep going down, there's some that we did. We did one with Dave, and we did one with
with Brian Dean.
Bernard
Those
and
got
Brian Dean.
some
Those
views.
got decent views.
Yeah.
And so there's definitely something there. But I think what's missing is going deep on different strategy topics.
Yeah, hold on. So let me finish. Let me finish. So there's a couple of these like common frameworks. So there's the I interview other people type stuff, marketing content, and then the other one of like a single brand or a single person doing in depth stuff is maybe like you said too tactical is one, right? It'll be like this particular LinkedIn template or whatever. Number two, if we talk about forget the interview content, like one or two people, the host constantly doing new stuff. The other one is just like pontificating. I've seen a few of those podcasts where like I like this guy or whatever, like they seem smart. And then each new episode is just like random pontification of like current events. You know, and to be honest, we did a little bit of that, and some of it worked really well. We have this old post on
Yeah, like commenting on current events.
right.
Yeah,
Well,
like so
ChatGPT
AI
replaced
comes
writers,
out.
and it has like
Yeah.
1.4 thousand views, which is pretty good for us. And then there is the brands. There are some brands that do just like it's not interview. I'm not interviewing my friends, you know, or whatever. It's not tactics, but they do just really beginner level like YouTube SEO. It'll be like the HubSpots or whatever's of the world that are just doing like, you know, just like basic, like introduction to digital ads. I don't know if they actually have that, but like,
Yeah, like the advice in there is not that interesting. It's like just general topics,
yeah.
just purely trying to rank for stuff.
So this is more like do what we did on text format of growandconvert.com blog posts of just like in-depth how to accept a couple differences. Obviously the format. Number two, not just content marketing. That we're going to expand to just like marketing, and then we're going to try to like live a little bit more at the strategy level of what CMOs and all think about. Like at the strategy level, like how should you think about allocation, budgets, hiring, etc. That makes sense to me. I feel like that has a nice Venn diagram like overlap of things we have direct expertise on, which has been our brand, is like we're talking about stuff that like we literally see everyone's GA accounts of like a bajillion, you know, current former clients and prospects that we sometimes don't even end up working with or whatever. We have people telling us that in our course, like hundreds and hundreds of people talking
Yeah,
about
well,
that.
I think the difference is we try not to comment on things that we don't have direct experience in. So I think a lot of people share, in theory, here's how something should work, and we're not doing that. All we're doing is we did this thing, and here's how it did work for us, or here's what didn't work for us, and just sharing our own personal experiences.
I like our accountability. So I wonder, logistically, what does this mean? Like, we don't have to change our Apple Podcast or Spotify podcast feed, right? And YouTube, thank God, our channel is not called at Double Your Agency. It's just called at Grow and Convert, which is perfect. It's as general as it can be.
The only branding is really just in the video intro itself. Like maybe we get our editor to create us a new intro, but like really nothing else needs to change. Like even like the images and stuff. Like,
Yeah, the images are totally
have,
neutral. And then maybe we just keep the challenges. We still do monthly updates, but maybe we feed them into a larger video where we say April has ended, or like, you know, like May has ended. This video is on, you know, like hiring and building your marketing team, but also at the end we're going to do our like May update or something like that. Or maybe they're separate videos, but we just don't call the series Doubling Your Agency. We call it something else to double down on the branding of this is like a marketing
For marketers, by
strategy
marketers.
show.
Yeah.
And then maybe we can ask the audience from this video, like, what would be some ideas for names? Like, so some that we threw around is just, like, I have said from the beginning, just call it the Grow and Convert Show. Like, because if we're using it, if the ultimate goal of this was to just do top of the funnel brand recognition marketing, just call the thing the Grow and Convert Show. And then people will just be like, have you listened to Grow and Convert? Like, there's this Grow and Convert episode. You know what I mean? That's one. It has an argument. It's not the coolest, most creative.
It's a good argument. Just
It has
getting
an
the brand
argument.
name out there.
The other one again is a nod. So then the other one would be just double down on the use case. So we call it something marketing strategy. The marketing strategy show. And then the CMO types or whoever we're talking about here just know like this is about marketing strategy. And then I like the Rand Fishkin nod where we can literally give him credit and say, hey, shout out to you, man. Like you're one of the OGs. Is putting the word Friday in it. We have released basically every single episode or literally every single episode on Friday to try to create this rhythm. His was called Whiteboard Fridays. You said that at one of your previous companies, you guys would literally sit around and watch it together on Friday.
Yeah, we had a scheduled meeting on the calendar in the business in a boardroom every single Friday. And our marketing team would go in there and watch these videos. And it was always interesting. It always helped create discussions afterwards. It was like, that was like a really cool thing that we did at that company. And I always thought those videos were super valuable and I learned a ton from them. And I would love to get to the point where there were marketing teams that were looking forward to watching these videos every Friday. Like that was the idea about doing some rhythm, because I think there's something to be said about getting people to come check something every single week, knowing that they're going to find something new.
Yeah, so then that would be build that into the name, right? Marketing Strategy Fridays. That would be, options 2 and 3, right? It's at Grow and Convert or Grow and Convert Marketing Strategy Fridays or something like that, where you're just like, it's literally built into the name, people. Like you find it on Friday, which creates that kind of expectation or kind of rhythm. And Friday is kind of a good day because a lot of people are not doing their like regular work as much on Friday. They're looking for a distraction. So I'm curious if people have ideas. We'd be curious a few things.
Or just either other ideas that for videos. Like, okay, if there's something that we haven't thought about that you think would be really interesting that we could do.
Yeah. So
I'm open to that too.
Yeah. Questions to the audience. Number 1, what do you think about our Double R Agency positioning and right now? Was it compelling? Is it not compelling? Number 2, what do you think about us repositioning to like this whole show is us to sharing our experience, ideas, and thoughts on marketing strategy. We don't interview other people. It's not an interview show. We don't talk about random current events unless it applies to marketing strategy or something like that, right? We do that. And number 3, what are your ideas for a name of the show or a branding of the show? And I'll give you the seedlings of it is like just the Grow and Convert show. So it's just about our brand. Or in the name. Number 2 is just some sort of marketing strategy type title. And number 3 is mentioning the word Friday in it to sort of give, a clear indication of when to expect it or any other ideas you have. Be curious to crowdsource this. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe. You can also get the audio-only versions of these shows wherever you get your podcasts. And you can follow us at growandconvert.com/newsletter for any articles and updates for when these videos come out.